This bread is going to be baked tomorrow, but we are starting today. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Castellan if you're new, and if you're not, it's time. It's finally time to make my first sourdough loaf. It's been over a month since I started developing this starter, and I feel like now it is ready to bake a full sourdough loaf. So this is from my rye starter. I'm panicking because I don't have yeast as my crutch, but just had to jump into it. Hopefully things go well. I'm going to use 1,000 grams of flour. I'm going to be using 750 grams of water and 200 grams of starter, 20 grams of salt. Then I'm going to be dividing that into 2 loaves. Once I'm done with the bulk fermentation for the cold proofing, I'll divide it into 2 loaves and refrigerate overnight, because this bread is going to be baked tomorrow, but we are starting today. This process is it's stressful, but it's fun. I can say it's kind of fun. Just developing the skill and doing it right. I think that's the whole fun process of it, considering how bread just disappears quickly once you start eating it. I know the flour is already supposed to be 1,000 grams because this is 1 kg of flour, but I'm just measuring for accuracy's sake. So I decided to use wholemeal flour because I didn't have bread flour, and the properties of this particular brand of wholemeal flour looked very promising. High protein content, also the additional fiber, so it was a no-brainer. But I was today years old to find out that the 1 kg pack has extra in it. Like, I thought I was going to use just the whole pack, but I had to remove some because it was coming to way more than 1,000 grams of flour. But I'm not complaining. In this capitalistic world, anything extra is much appreciated. And then the next thing I measured was the salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salts. No special reason why. It was just, I have a lot of it, so I decided to use this salt. I like measuring everything out before I start mixing stuff. Also on the internet, the sourdough people are very serious about all these measurements. It's crazy the number of videos I've watched, people talking about measurements and measure everything. Usually I'm the kind of eyeballing it person, but this time I decided to just follow the instructions. The way I was worried that my starter was not going to float. If it doesn't float, it means your starter is not ready for baking, and I was just like, I hope this works out. But it floated, so I'm happy that the starter looks promising. That's it for all the measuring and measurements, and I promise I'm going to invest in more sourdough tools. I don't have a Danish dough whisk or whatever it's called, so I'm just using a wooden spoon to mix. I mixed the sourdough starter with water until it was frothy before I went ahead to add my wholemeal flour. I saw that when you're using wholemeal flour, you need a little bit of higher hydration, because the flour just, I think because of the fiber, it just soaks up the water. So I had to go in with my hands to just make sure that I don't have any dry spots in the flour, and then I can leave it to start the autolyse process. I'm going to cover it, and then we do the 30-minute stretch and fold intervals. Step 1 done. The next scary step is the bulk fermentation process, because apparently if you over ferment, under ferment, so many issues. Anyway, it's been an hour now. It's time for the first set of stretch and folds. I was so concerned because my dough was very stiff, like it wasn't stretching the way I've seen other people's dough stretching on the internet. But I think that's just because I was using wholemeal flour, which I also later came to find out is not very beginner friendly, but here we are. Because one thing I'm gonna do is live on the wild side. Next one, I will do another stretch and fold, and then for the last one, I will do the coil folds. But I think I will catch you on the last set when I'm doing the coil folds. So now I want to do the last set of coil folds. Then I just got a clearish bowl, so I'm going to do the bulk fermentation in this bowl because I just want to see what's going on. Although I don't have like an actual strategy for the bulk fermentation, I'm just going to let it sit at room temperature for 4 hours, check on it, and then by my eyes. If I decide that it needs more time, then I'll give it more time. And that's it. It's pretty warm in the room. The AC is set to 23 degrees, but it doesn't feel like 23. It's hot. It's hot, so because we're in summer anyway. So I will do the last coil fold, transfer it here, leave it for 4 hours and see how it looks. If it's bubbly, if it's, you know, separates from the container without sticking, all that good stuff. But wish me luck. If I'm going to use wholemeal flour again for sourdough baking, I think I can get away with higher hydration because the way this dough was just stiff. Even doing the coiled folds, I had to shake it out a bit. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't done much research about it. But from what I saw is the more dense or stiff the dough is, the more of a tighter crumb you will get. Now we're moving on to bulk fermentation, which will take a couple of hours. Option 1 is to sit and watch the dough. Option 2 is to go to the gym and get my glute and hamstring day workout done. And that's exactly what I did. Remember to always warm up. I started the bulk fermentation process in the afternoon, and this was at midnight, you guys. Where are the bubbles they promised me? There was no bubbles. The dough was looking bigger, but there was no bubbles at all. So I said, you know what? It's midnight. I want to go to bed. So I'm just going to cut the dough, shape it, and leave it in the fridge overnight. I am going to invest in a bench scraper as well. I have no sourdough tools. I have no proofing basket. I have nothing. I'm going to buy this stuff. I just wanted to try the process first and see if I will get it right. So I'm just measuring the two halves of the dough to make sure that they're equal because I'm going to be using identical bread beans. One thing I appreciate about having the dense dough, it was pretty easy to work with. I didn't have any issues with stickiness or shaping or anything like that. Although the different number of flours that I've used in this process, it's quite impressive. From starting with the rice starter, wholemeal flour, and now I'm just using regular flour to dust the countertop. I put my loaves into bread tins that are lined with parchment paper and then introduced another flour. I added some semolina flour on the top of the loaves. There's no explanation for this. I just thought it was interesting. Also, I skipped the pre-shaping step before putting it in the proofing container. So I just covered it loosely with cling film and put it in the fridge overnight. It's time to bake the loaves. Time to find out if we are going to have nice fluffy bread or chewing gum. I'm going to use this as my Dutch oven. It's not really a cast iron, it's just a regular pot and lid, but it's oven safe, and I know my bread beans fit directly inside here. And then I'm using a gas oven, so I have to monitor the temperature. This is my oven thermometer. It's bit, but it works hard. It has been working hard, so it has both the Fahrenheit and the Celsius, so I can be able to track the temperature. So I'm going to preheat the oven up to 230 degrees Celsius or something. What is 230? That is about 450 Fahrenheit. I'm not taking the loaves out of the fridge yet until the oven is preheated. I'm just going to take them out when it's ready to bake, when it's time to bake. I was checking some videos last night and they said you don't have to bring the loaf up to room temperature before you bake it. So I'll just preheat. Then once the oven has reached the temperature, take it out, score it, and throw it directly into the oven and cross my fingers, hoping for the best. But I don't want to be overconfident and say I feel excited about this, but I feel excited about this. I think I've done a good job so far, so let's see how it goes. This is the last time I'm going to say this. It's my first time, guys. I don't have tools. I don't have a scoring tool, so I DIY'd one for myself. I just attached a razor to the end of a skewer. It's a new razor, and I scored the loaf, one deep score across the entire top of the loaf, and then it was time for the oven. Things were hot. Things were really hot. The Dutch oven was hot. The oven was hot. The room was hot. The potential for third-degree burns was high. I did the first half of the bake at 230 degrees for 30 minutes. The fact that you cannot even look inside the oven to see what's going on because everything is covered is very nerve-wracking. But when I removed the loaf and I saw that oven spring, I was like, we are in the game. We're in the game now. I was so happy. So I put it back for another 20 minutes, although I could have put it for longer if I wanted it to be more dark, but I was happy with the level of browning that I got. I put my pot back into the oven so that I can preheat it for the second loaf. And the second loaf also turned out just as good as the first one. I was just so excited. At this point, I was excited. And then I remembered I have to cut into the loaf and see what it looks like inside. This is the moment of truth because I either have a nice crumb or I have a block of gum. I was just nervous, but yo, look at that. Look at my loaves. The crumb is a little bit dense, but I'm not mad at it. My first sourdough loaf. I gave a whole synopsis of the entire process, but turns out I was wearing the microphone the wrong way, so the audio is horrible. Although I tested it and it was standard sourdough loaf. It's not an open and airy crumb because my dough was quite dense, which I don't mind because when you're applying spreads and stuff like that, you need the dough to hold on to something, not falling through holes. But that was my sourdough baking process, my first time making sourdough bread, and I'm happy with how everything turned out. I will be tweaking and trying different variations of this process. At least I know my starter is strong enough. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching all the way until the end, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.